All right, COVID-19 pandemic chronology video for Saturday, 12 November 2022. My update is I am working on pandemic pit crew writing and publishing work today. Two broad categories, or focuses. One is the 2022 Marathon Swim World Series. It ends, the last stop, or multi-day competition of the World Series was yesterday and today in Israel. Eilat, Israel. My Gregorio and my Christoph, one of my Hungarian Christophs, they actually tied to be like, see, we can share the crown, we can share you. So two of my men doing that is a symbolic gesture to me. And so I've been writing about that. I have 3 Italians and 2 Hungarians that I'm writing about. And so in addition to, I made the event page / article on Wikipedia, so I've been working on updating that as well. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is something I'm doing, I did last year, but I'm doing this year very differently in terms of finding the information. And so it's part of my writing and publishing, but I might not be writing and publishing as much because how I'm going about finding information is a bit different. So last year, I kind of tasked myself with a year of following the American-based swimming press, which publishes a bunch of misinformation. So it was like, it's good to read this to get a feel for what type of misinformation, what it looks like, that kind of stuff. And so I did that last year, so that was kind of like May/June 2021, and then I stopped reading the American-based swimming publications, so like Swim World. I have not read those on any, or consumed those publications on any sort of consistent basis since June 2022. I did my year, and now I'm out there looking for reliable references and sources, which is a bit different, and it's been like very slow. And so it's kind of like each school. So the second thing is writing about and publishing about the NCAA. So it would be the 2022 to 2023 collegiate season. And I have kind of 2 focuses. So Brooks Curry, who's my husband, he is older than me. He's lanky, which means long and lean. That's not me. I'm 5'7.5", so above average for like the average woman worldwide, which is like 5'2", 5'2" inches or something like that. But average for, I'm Norwegian by birth and ancestry. That's pretty average for my ethnicity. And yeah, so I'm not necessarily long, and I'm not lean. I have been lean before, but I've found a way to keep my body fat a little higher. So that's it's actually kind of nice, because in the past I've had troubles with, like, I exercise like, you know, an hour and a half to 2+ hours every day, and my body fat, I have no problem keeping it high, or not high, it's in the healthy range, but keeping it nice and healthy, whereas in the past I've had really low body fat, and I found some tricks for that, so that's kind of nice. Although I do have, like, I can see, like, in the mirror, like, the outline of 4-pack / 6-pack abs, like, starting to emerge. So it's like, it's a really different kind of, like, healthy body fat, where I'm like, I can see my muscles, and I have much higher body fat than I used to when I would exercise this much. So it's a very interesting kind of thing. And I am a healthy body weight. So that's Brooks Curry. So my men and I, we do not all swim the same thing. He's kind of an example of that. He does sprint freestyle. I do not do sprint freestyle, and I categorize as sprint 50, 100, 200. 200 is kind of like the longest sprint. Yeah. And so there's that. And so that's one of my people I'm focusing on. And then I'm also focusing on Lydia Jacoby, whose Wikipedia article I created before she even stepped foot on the pool deck at the 2020 US Olympic trials. Wave to you. So yeah, so I'm learning about the NCAA swimming, So I'm not unfamiliar with it. Why did I task myself with writing about it? I tasked myself with writing about it because I did not do it, but I am very familiar with the recruitment process and people who went on to swim, be it Division I, Division II, or Division III NCAA. I was part of my summer league team, and my high school team were heavily recruited by the NCAA. And like scouts would even come out and stuff like that. I was too slow. I think like if we wanted to do the best times they were looking at was like when I was 15 years old, I was training 4.5 hours a week, approximately 5 days a week. Or something like that. At least during summer league. It might have been like 5 hours a week at that point in time. So like 5 hours a week. No, yeah, 5 hours, 1 hour a day, 5 days during the week. So 5 hours a week for 3 months out of the year. So I did not do year-round training. I only trained for 3 months and that was it. And I was doing, so for like the 50-yard breaststroke, 35 seconds as a 15-year-old with that amount of training. And like, to put it in perspective, one of my friends from my high school swim team who swam year-round, competed year-round, she got laughed at because her 100-yard breaststroke time, so these were like scouts that came out from a college looking at somebody else, and her 100-yard breaststroke time, if I'm recalling correctly, was like 1 minute and 12 seconds. My best was like 1 minute and, at that point in time, maybe like 1 minute and 19 seconds, 1 minute and 20 seconds, or 18. It was in the 1 minute and 19 plus or minus seconds. So I was a fair amount slower than her. And she got laughed at by these scouts that came out. She did get recruited, and she even got like a swimming scholarship or something somewhere. I got 0 offers, but she got laughed at by a Division I school that sent scouts out. It was Ohio State University, and they literally laughed at her because they were like, those times are horrible. And she went 7 seconds faster than me on 100. Okay, her name was Bethany Gerke. She's actually I have a video on my channel currently that's me and one of my fellow swim captains. So I was a swim captain. I swam both varsity and junior varsity, lettered all 4 years. I made it to districts, which districts, if there weren't enough people at the state championships, they would take like the top 5. They had wild card spots and they would pull those from districts. I was nowhere near that fast at districts, but I did qualify for the first kind of like the regionals. I was good enough for that kind of, or not good enough, fast enough for that, but not state. And yeah, so not in swimming. I did place 3rd and 2nd at state level championships for water polo. So different sport. I was much better. So Bethany Gerke, oh yeah, back to the video. So there's a video on my channel from 2009, fall 2009, which was my senior year. I was co-captain for for the swim team with Lauren Williams and Amber Armstrong, and then the dive captain was Soraya McIntyre. The Shorewood and Shorecrest team practiced together, the dive team. Katrina Young, who's an Olympic diver, she did not actually compete for Shorecrest High School. She's a platform diver. We only did 1 meter springboard. So fun fact, if you are interested, I'll get back to the video in a second. Olympic divers, Olympic swimmers, it doesn't mean they swam on their school team or dove for their school team. It does not mean they lettered. It does not mean they were captain. We didn't even know of Katrina Young. That was somebody who nobody talked about. She graduated class of 2010. I graduated class of 2010. She didn't once dive at a meet for Shorecrest, at least against us. And she wasn't part of the team, school team. So just because somebody's an Olympian doesn't mean they're like good citizens, so to speak, of the school sporting scene. And definitely not synonymous with a leader, definitely not synonymous with captain, definitely not synonymous with team player, which is like, and fast, which is like lettering or varsity team. She was none of that, right? And so it's just a healthy realization that just because somebody's an Olympian doesn't mean they have all of the basic notability criteria of being a good swimmer plus team player kind of thing. And so on one of my videos, me and one of my co-captains, Amber Armstrong, are singing Hakuna Matata, and this girl walks behind us and kind of gives us a dirty look from behind. That is Bethany Gerke. So if you want to know who Bethany Gerke is, she's in one of the videos. I just described the video. It was filmed in 2009 at Linwood Recreation Center. It was a dual meet. It was a it was like two dual meets held at the same time or something like that. I think they were like, or maybe, no, it was 3 teams shared the same pool, and it was against 1 team. Something like that. Something funky like that. Like we shared our pool, Shoreline pool, with Shorecrest. So it was our home pool for 2 teams versus like for Linwood Recreation Center, it was home for like 3 or 4 teams. Yeah, shared resources. But yeah, so recruiting. So a bunch of people recruited. A bunch of people received offers. I did not receive offers, which was a lot of people they were happy in the sense of, clearly the NCAA does not want Tanis, Coralee, Leonhardi, me, right? If they're laughing at someone who's 7 seconds slower, the level of no, like, just like absolutely not on me. And so I got 0 offers. I did get in pool swimming. I did get an offer in running for middle distance. So like the 1600, 3200. I turned that one down. I was pretty slow in high school. My mile time in high school was like a 5-minute something, which is slow, especially for collegiate running. I got my mile time down to 4-minute something when I was 19, but that was like college years, and I ran on my own. Like I didn't compete for a team or train with a team. I did that myself. And so yeah, wasn't good enough at the right time to kind of have that level of confidence to do something like that. I got better on my own. And then, so why I'm writing about the NCAAs, I don't know. It's like picking up where I left off, right? A lot of people were really unhappy with the recruitment process from NCAA. It was kind of one of those things where I only heard negative things, even from the best people on the team. But I think it's like one of those things where people complain up front and then may or may not complain once they're on the team. So just kind of writing about it to get a feel for, okay, I know that nobody was happy with NCAA during the recruitment and leading up to it, but are people happy with it or what? And I can't tell that with my writing and publishing, but writing and publishing it to get a feel for what is it like. I spent 4 years on varsity and junior varsity for my high school team. I lettered. I went to districts. How does the structure of the NCAA compare to high school swimming? So that's like my starting point in understanding it. But that's my pandemic update for today. Happy day.